Hello everybody, and a very warm welcome to you. I'm very excited to be with you today because I thought it was time, as we're in the build-up to some pretty strong eclipses coming at the beginning and the middle of July. I thought this was a good time to share with you a little bit of a heads up of what I'm seeing and how you can make the optimal use of the energies that are coming. So we've got a solar eclipse coming first. A solar eclipse in Cancer on July 2nd, 3rd. Now, solar eclipses are always an opportunity for planting some new seeds, for doing something new. I like to suggest, for example, if you really want to do something proactive with the solar eclipse coming at the beginning of July, it's a great time to make a list of maybe 100 things that you'd love to have or see in your world. And then put it in an envelope or something like that and seal it and put it in a drawer somewhere or in a sacred place and date it, and then come back to it a year later and see how many of those seeds have blossomed. You might be really quite surprised. So it's just a wonderful time for gathering the energy. Yes, greetings, my family. I feel as though you are my family. And hopefully, bit by bit, I'm going to get to meet more of you. That's my hope, is that we're connecting with our tribe. The solar eclipse coming up in Cancer has everything to do with family, home, nourishment, food. And I think that there is a general feeling now, what with internet and everything growing wider, that we can connect up with bigger families than just our own small nuclear family. For me, I'm an only child, so I don't have siblings, and it has felt lonely on occasion. Of course, I got all the attention of my parents, which was quite nice as well. So with any situation, there's always advantages and disadvantages, and you can choose which side of the coin you want to see your reality. But what I'm feeling is that we are going to be connecting more and more from that heart connection, or star family. Thank you, enlightened edits. A star family where we bring each other to light. I was fortunate today to meet lovely Dara Dubinay again, a soul sister certainly, and she's on YouTube and Instagram, posting about food and also about astrogeography. Greece is on her Neptune line, so she has to trust and have faith that she's being guided. So I think that gradually I'm hoping that I'll meet with more of you in person as well as online. Of course, online is wonderful. The feeling comes through. But for you not to feel as lonely, for you not to feel as isolated, and to feel as though love can come in many shapes and sizes. It doesn't have to be just in one direction that we've been taught so far and conditioned to believe. Look how we can heal one another at long distance. How prayers make a difference. So we can reach one another vibrationally, and that's what I'm hoping we're doing together today. To connect on that warm, loving, fuzzy-wuzzy level, which is what this Cancer solar eclipse is all about. So solar eclipses are very special new moons. They're like new moons that are pumped up, turbocharged. So we've just had the solstice, which is always a big opening of a portal of energy. And now we come into this new moon solar eclipse. So what are the seeds you want to plant? During new moons, it's often the times when farmers plant crops that are above the ground, that you can see. So it's a good time to look at what is it that you're seeing, that you'd like to see. And then as we move towards the lunar eclipse in the middle of July, in Capricorn, lunar eclipses are often for inner work. They're often times of completion. Wonderful time to give up a bad habit. So if you want to give up smoking or drinking or anything that you know is not very good for you, good time to do it at the time of the lunar eclipse, around the 16th, 17th of July. Keep in mind that the energy of eclipses lasts for a good 6 months, sometimes longer. And we've got these energies of Cancer and Capricorn every 6 months. So we had them at the beginning of this year. Do come and visit me in Greece. It's wonderful here. Marianne, Giovanna, yes, come. I'm doing a seminar in October. Maybe some of you will come in person. I know some of you are already coming online with me. Just so we can enhance that feeling of family, of togetherness, of sharing, of loving, of supporting one another. I saw a video on Facebook about a community in Texas that's been taking homeless people off the streets, but not just giving them homes and plonking them somewhere alone again, but they've built these tiny houses where people can come together, and they have painting and music, and they work and they earn their rent, and they cook and they clean and they do different things. Each person can contribute and feel valuable and feel nurtured and not feel alone. This is what the kind of thing that I'm seeing and hoping is going to begin to materialize, so that there isn't this vast, deep feeling of isolation, which I think many of us feel, at least from time to time. So, we're moving towards communities. This is certainly one of the shifts in consciousness. We're seeing the breakdown of existing structures. So we've got this Cancer Capricorn energy, and don't worry if you're not a Cancer Capricorn, please don't turn off. Somewhere in your chart you will have the Cancer Capricorn opposition somewhere in your life, and it will show the life areas that are being triggered for you. So what we're looking at is nurturing, loving, food, how you nourish yourself, how you nourish others, unity consciousness, how do we become unified, and Capricorn energy, what new structures do we want to create in order to have these loving communities? Because Capricorn is very practical. It wants the practicalities. It's about structure. And there are many eco-communities, villages, all this is growing, where people can erect houses and yurts and things quickly. Structures are able to be created more easily. The technology is enabling us to do that. So these are all exciting things that I see globally. Now, the other side of all of this, is that we've got Pluto, Saturn coming up in Capricorn, along with more eclipses over the next year. So it's also important that we look at the structures that seem to be coming in. For example, I know this is a hot potato, but okay, I'll mention it anyway. 5G. 5G looks as though it's going to be rolled out around the world. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of controversy about it. There are many scientists and well-known doctors who are saying that it is hazardous to human health and that the radiation and the frequencies are dangerous. There are others who are saying it's wonderful and it's perfectly fine, and that there's already so many radioactive microwaves and everything happening that it doesn't matter. So I think we're going to see polarizations. We're seeing it with vaccination. Exactly. Some people are really looking forward to 5G. Others are hiding and running off to places where they hope it's not going to be introduced. So we've got polarities. Don't be surprised if the polarities become more extreme. And I think we're going to see people who really want to fight for what they believe in more strongly. And then communities being built around common beliefs, common ideals. And this sense of community, because really, what do we all want? Well, we'd like to feel valued, I think. We'd like to feel as though we've got something to contribute that's creative, that brings out your particular gifts. And that you're not alone and you've got people around you who can support you, who love you, that you've got a network. There's a network of people who are holding you. If you should fall, if you should slip, there are people who are softening that fall. You're not alone. So I think that these are themes of these eclipses. I think we'll be dealing more with this issue of birth and death. Birth being Cancer, the breast, the mother, the nurturing, the child. And Cancer being ruling old age, Capricorn ruling old age and death and dying and aging. And there's a huge market growth happening around old age and aging. Stopping the clock, putting back the clock. Many technologies coming. And how do we help people in those transitions? Are we helping people with that dying process? Are we helping the loved ones of the people who've experienced losses? And I think that communities as well will need to absorb that as well. Helping people cross over, helping the families of those, helping those who are being born into the world, being involved, feeling as though you've got meaning. So I think we'll see these polarities of the very young, the very old. And how do we bring those into our society more than we do? And respect the little ones in their innocence and their angelic qualities that they bring in because they're fresh and they're new and they're untainted. And then how do we respect and treat with dignity the older ones, their experiences, their wisdom, and the things that they have to contribute? They might not be as mobile, but they've got something. Each person, as long as you're breathing, as long as you're alive and above ground, you've got something. And then the animals and nature, and including the animals as our brothers and sisters, and having them around us as well for healing. And then the herbs and the medicines and bringing out the ancestry, all the valuable things that we've lost, and we're reclaiming it, we're finding it again. So there's the advancement of technology, the huge advancements, the nanotechnology, which is coming because Pluto is very much about miniaturization, things becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and more powerful and more powerful and more powerful. I always find it quite amusing when people call Pluto a dwarf planet and that it's insignificant. In my experience as an astrologer, it's extremely significant. And when you're under Pluto transits or squares or oppositions, these are life-changing, transformational points in somebody's life. Hugely powerful. So we've got this miniaturization going on, and the power of technology, and how are we using it? Is 5G for the good? Is it questionable? How are we using the abilities that we have to look at galaxies and see galaxies being formed? And yet there are children dying every day of starvation. How are we using our technology? Are we using it responsibly in a nurturing way with the Cancer energy? This nurturing, loving each one as our own family? I'll give you a little example. So very often I'm on public transport here in Greece, and you certainly get a motley crew of people, all kinds of shapes and sizes and smells and looks and everything. And I notice coming up in me, especially if they're piling on, which often they are, and you haven't got much breathing space, I notice I'm surrounded by all these strangers. And I can feel my conditioning. It's like, ooh, not sure I like this one. I'm not sure I like that one. I'm looking round and I'm almost holding my breath. And I'm thinking, hey, you've got to start walking your talk here, missus. So then I started looking at, these two young boys, young lads, early 20s, I think. And I started looking at them afresh, and I just saw them and I thought, oh, I'd love to give this one a kiss. He's so sweet, so lovely. I saw something different. I saw something of a vulnerability. And they were all hard, they had this like macho act, and you see the cigarette in the hand and all this going on. And then I just mentally saw myself just kissing them and imagining they were my boys. And everything suddenly changed. All of a sudden these two, who had felt quite hostile energies, they were suddenly looking at me with open eyes. And I started to talk to them. And it was just a loving interaction. So what you are really vibrating out with people really comes back to you. And I'm just noticing, when I begin to tighten up my heart, my tummy, Cancer rules your digestion. Exactly, everybody is somebody's child. Everyone. So just see if you can start blowing kisses to people in your imagination. Not necessarily physically. I'm not asking you to go around and do it. But if you just can do it mentally, it's just an amazing experience. It transforms how you interact with other people. So don't be put off by exteriors, by colour, by expression, by dress, and even by a miserable looking face. Who knows what news that person had heard earlier in the day? We don't know. So don't take it too personally. The Cancer energy has a tendency to take things very personally. Oh, this person didn't talk to me today, and she's usually very friendly. What did I do? Capricorn wouldn't care a hoot. Take on the Capricorn energy and say, that's not my problem. It's not something I have to take on. So it's about yes, a smile can save a life. Yes, it can. There are stories of people who've been on their last moments of wanting to leave this earth, and somebody smiled at them and they changed their mind. So yes, thank you, Heidi. So remembering to smile, remembering to plant those seeds. And we are one another's keeper. It's just that we've not been taught to live it. At least I don't think I was necessarily trained to live it. And I think that now we are changing structures. We're in a hugely dramatic shift of humanity. Saturn Pluto coming around in January of next year. So that's why these eclipses this July are very significant ones. What are you planting? What are the seeds you really want to plant? What do you want to see grow in your garden? I want to see community. I want to see a family of people that I can connect with in different places. It doesn't have to be in one place. But where we've got hubs, family hubs, hubs of families. Where there's support, where there's love, where there's distractions, where there's animals, where there's painting, where there's music, where there's things that you can do. Dancing and celebrations and respect for the earth, respect for our planet, and technological growth as well. Not one for the other, but that we bring the two together. Because the world is getting smaller. And this is a wonderful opportunity. You've chosen to be alive now, in this change time. It is super significant. The power that we have now as a global community is more than we've ever had before. Ever. Yes, there are going to be the powers that be, various countries that want to suppress it. But I don't think it's going to be suppressed. So now we can together, with these Pluto-Saturn aspects, this structure, decide on the kinds of structures that we want to see in our world. And then with the Cancer, to implement them in a nurturing way so that nobody is excluded. Nobody. That's a big one. There's a tendency to look over there and say, oh, them and this one and that one. But just to see that everybody's got something special. There's a lovely man. He looks always so poised, very, very thin. And he sells umbrellas and things, even in the hot weather in the middle of summer, bless his heart. And he's obviously not Greek, but he's thin and wiry and always looks very sad. So I always make it a point to just give him a few bob. And gradually I've got talking to him. He's become a person. So now I know him. He's Mohammed and he's from Bangladesh. And he's going back to Bangladesh because a family member has recently died. And it's like when I see him now, he opens his arms wide. Hello, Yassas! You know, and he's a big beaming smile on his face. He's not looking for money now. He was originally. It was like, yeah, and I still give him anyway. It's not about the money, but it's about the connection. So now, you can do that with anybody. Yes? I do believe I could do it with him. Yes, you can do it with anybody, in your midst, around you, somebody that you see. So these are just little things that I like to share with you and see where it takes you. I hope these things resonate with you. I'm just trying to give you the heads up of the energies that we're working with so that you can activate those energies in your life and feel the richness and the abundance and the joy of doing it. So I'll take any questions. If you've got any, 1 or 2 questions. Yes, everybody, your bus drivers, your security guards. Say thank you when you get off the bus. I usually do. Even if they don't hear me. Doesn't matter. Just a respect for the dignity of every living person. That's all we want. To feel appreciated, to feel as though you matter, as though your being here on this planet matters. And it does. It does. Yeah. So thank you very much for being with me. Really sending you heart love, and I feel it coming back. How can you manifest better with the eclipses? Write that list. Write the list of the things that you want to see. At least 100 things. They can be personal things, that you want to have in your life, and maybe wider things. Make the list, seal it up, put it somewhere sacred or just in a drawer, and just let it sit. Imagine you're planting seeds. Seeds. How can you change your sad thoughts? Sometimes it's just important to have those thoughts and to let the sadness wash over you. And then be around energy that is soft and gentle and nurturing. Yeah. These are things, yeah, we're connecting to family here. That's what I'm feeling. That's why I love doing these live streams, because it's happening in the moment. Yes, words have great power. And it's important to use them as wisely as you can. And your thoughts, of course. Are eclipses bad? Well, I do have an astrologer friend who says eclipses are not good. She finds she doesn't like them so much. I don't see them as bad or good necessarily. I see that they are an opportunity to use an energy frequency in a certain way. That's how I see it. Yes, diet plays a role in how you feel, but again, important not to get too fanatical about anything, and to have things as best as you can in a balance. Cancer and Capricorn. Nurturing, if you're just nurturing and doing nothing else all day, no work gets done. Nothing is productive. We need the Capricorn to send us out to work, to earn a living, and to have some goals and some ambitions. And then to come home to the meal and the food and the family and the nurturing, the animals and all of that. So it's this balance. That's what's wonderful about the astrology. That's why I always take 2 signs together, the opposing signs. You may find that you've got a lot in common with your opposite sign. It's very often the case. So I want to thank you very much for listening. I just don't know, half an hour seems to just go in a heartbeat. Yes, you can feel exhausted. There can be exhaustion feelings with the eclipse energies. Yes, the moon energies are strong, and you can just feel as though your energy is wiped out. That can happen. And you may find that you have days when you're just not hungry at all, and days when you just want to gobble everything up. So think again about what's nourishing me. What am I looking for in food that I might find in something else? So thank you very much for listening, and I will just say bye for now. I will be going live with the Pleiadians soon, so if you've got any questions you'd like to ask, please go onto my community page and ask. Much love. Bye for now.